Hi guys, welcome back. A long time no post, but been busy with everything else, just like everybody else. However, this is a little project that we've kind of had on the back burner for a wee while, and I was just waiting for elements to come together to give it a try. So what we've got is a proof of concept for the formal gardens of Hougoumont. Richie Hall, who a lot of you guys know on the Facebook groups and around the scene, has a Hovels Hougoumont, but it doesn't have any of the formal garden elements. So what I thought would be quite fun is to try and make them in a way that's going to be practical and still 3D. So we came up with this kind of concept, which is just the low parterre hedge, plump foliage with just coloured flock on top. I mean, the idea was it wanted it to be 3D, but it's got to be tough. So we've got to be able to get things on and get games on, and it's so we can play black powder through it with the big trays, and yet it still look good enough for skirmish. Was the kind of idea. The colours aren't right, but I was just buying bits and bobs off eBay to try and figure out the different products and what might work best. I think that we'll darken down the hedge in itself so that it can be a more in line with yew or box hedging, and these trees, I mean, they probably should be blended into the hedge or whatever, but it's just basically our interpretation of what it might look like. So what we've done is taken this as an idea, and obviously you can see this was just a spare bit of MDF I had kicking around, and if we were to have one bed this size, the whole thing would be absolutely colossal beyond the belief. So what we've done is we have shrunk it down. Where are they? Here they are. We shrunk it down to this size. So we're getting the idea of it. We're going to make it all in individual bits. We got the MDF cut to shape by Chris at Vital Ground Creative. I've just strengthened this at the moment with onto some card, which is important for warpage. So it's all glued on to card so that when we texture this with soil, it shouldn't warp, because there's a whole load of PVA underneath and there'll be PVA on top. We'll put some weights on, we'll hold it down. So we'll make it all in small sections so that we can pull it apart, put it together, have it kind of however we kind of want, really, is the idea anyway. So, like that. For example, we'll just have a map or whatever, and we'll place it all down. So, I mean, we can go tighten for skirmish, we can open it up for black powdery things, but again, things are going to be robust. So if you've got a black powder unit, you just plonk it on top, oh, and away you go, and that's how that's going to work. So what we've got is we get the MDF shape cut from Chris, and then glue it onto just normal card. That's just to stop it warping, and it totally does work. It totally works. So you really want to do that. Obviously, when you're gluing them all together, make sure it's the right way around as well. Yeah. So that you can make sure you've got them all the right way for doing your shape. Because obviously, if you do them all upside down, for example, then you're not going to have the right shape in the end, if that makes sense. So it's quite important that you get them all the right way. Okay? Okay. So, what you do for this is you get I'm using, for the actual hedging itself, I was just using these fellas, which are just pan scourers, just from Home Bargains or somewhere, anywhere like that. But they're actually quite thin. So I've glued two together, like this. And for that, I've just been using our strong, nice, high-tack adhesive spray, carpet spray, which I just picked up in the same place. Just any kind of bargainy department store, home kind of department-y kind of store thing will have these kind of things. But yeah, any glue that'll work. I just thought this was actually quite good because it's quite fast, as I'll show you now. So give it a wee shake, and then spray it on along the edge, along here, and right now it's really high tack, but it takes a wee while to get that way. It goes on like water, and you just have to leave it for a little bit until it's kind of builds up that kind of tackiness, which is all right. So we'll just give that a minute. So what we did was found a suitable height. I'll just put that up to there. So we found a suitable height that we thought was fine. These are quite tall. When I've got other aspects I'm going to do, other borders, I'm going to actually even cut this down even further, so it's even flatter. But actually, I just thought this looked quite nice, and it means that we can have plants inside, where plants inside can be more 3D and a bit taller, because we'll manage to get over the top like that. So we can have more interesting plants, more interesting plants in there that are a little bit taller, and they'll not get damaged. But everything will be covered in a kind of cement, so that it's gonna take the rough and tumble of gaming. So that's kind of tacked up a bit. You can see there. We'll just start piecing it all together. So on there. There, I just cut these to size beforehand, so it works out pretty decent. So put them on, and now I was actually banging in a little bit of spray into these corners here, just to link them up. But I mean, you don't need to use the spray adhesive. I just thought it was a lot faster and robust, which is kind of key. But everything will be getting PVA'd and flocked anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. What have we got? Little column. So I cut these to size just beforehand, just for speediness. Where we are. That onto there. That one. Oh. And now we've jumbled them all up, which is handy. So onto there like that. Okay. And then what we'll do is just bang in one into there, like so. So I wouldn't worry too much if it kind of overhangs a bit, because you can just trim it off, like so. So get that in there, that in there. Pop that on there. You can see the shape kind of forming now nicely. And that's basically it. Everything's can get trimmed after it. And even if things are a little bit taller, it depends how good the gardener was keeping the heights in line. But you can come across and trim that kind of thing. There we go, and that's it. So that's actually stuck pretty fast. You can see how easy that was using the high tack adhesive spray. A lot easier than mucking about with PVA. I think you'd be there for a hell of a long time waiting for all that stuff to dry, and I think it would all just move. So anyway, that's what we're looking at for that. And then hopefully we shall have enough to make a proper formal garden. Up, explode it out, have a faff around. Obviously, we'll trim off all the card underneath after the fact. I'll get a nice sharp Stanley and go for that. Trim all that up, and then probably just when we PV these up, we'll just flock all the way down right to the bottom there, and it'll make it nice and strong. And there you have it. That's how we're going to go about making the formal garden at Hougoumont. I hope that's helpful if anybody wants to give it a bash themselves. I'll put up Chris's contact details at the bottom of this, and you can hit him up if you want the MDF cut for it. And he's actually working on, excitingly, he's working on actually MDF walls to surround all this. There's a few prototypes of that kicking around that will be interesting, and we'll bang on some videos of that when that's done. And then we'll see how we go with the whole kind of garden project. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and everybody stay safe and try and keep on doing bits and bobs with gaming for when we ever get out of this. Thanks very much. Bye.